you know what? Let me try something different. Let me pull my pants up a little bit and throw something a little on and go see what I can do over here on this side. What might happen if I try this shit a little bit? And that's all I did.
Oi. Hey there YouTube, how's it going? Goon here, coming at you guys again with another YouTube video, this one being a little bit different, however. If you're familiar with my channel and you're a subscriber, you know that I've been really on it with doing a lot of acronym-related reviews, as well as this last review on the Nike ISPA Drifter Split, a very interesting shoe and also something that did really well, so thank you guys so much for watching. But everything that I've uploaded has kind of been within the techwear wardrobe, or the techwear realm, I should say, if that makes any sense. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, however, because I have more of a multitude of items that I have been gifted and I've bought of my own volition, being my birthday month. And I don't celebrate a birthday month, I celebrate like a couple of days or however I can given the quarantine circumstances. But I've been celebrating in ways, and I've got some stuff as of recently that I thought would be fun to share with you guys, kind of, you know, widen my range of video content, that kind of thing. So if you guys want to check it out, I really appreciate it. I'm gonna have some stuff that ranges from fashion to fragrances to just some kind of home appliance things that I've really come to enjoy over this last week, month thing that I mentioned earlier. And yeah, without further ado, let me get into it. It's gonna be a lot more casual than normal, which I'm kind of excited about, so let's get into it. So starting off with some of the more casual things, the stuff that's just been around my room, that kind of stuff. I got a candle. I know, really exciting. But I like it. I like it a lot. Candles have never really been that thing that I've ever been interested in. They always kind of end up as that sort of thing that's like getting socks for Christmas when you're younger. You're like, cool, but you're never really all that excited about it. Now that I've been doing some room renovating, as you guys can probably tell over the course of the videos, my room has been changing pretty much every video. It's been nice to kind of just put some things that just kind of give a little bit more life to this domicile of mine that feels more and more my own, and this candle is one of them. It's from this company called Island Memories San Francisco, and the fragrance is Om, which is perfect because what a fashiony name, Om, poor Om, you know. The fragrance on this candle is phenomenal. It really does have this really big masculine body to it while having a really lovely soapy smell at the same time. I don't want to try and downplay it, but it does have a lot of resemblance to this Old Spice body wash that I use, but it has way more, you know, elegance than that. It has a lot of different notes and it smells lovely. It was pretty cheap too. This vintage store that I always frequent has these on one of their shelves in their store, and I saw it, I smelled it. I was actually out on my birthday checking this out, and I just had to grab it off of the shelf. It's a lovely scent. And I'm excited to be using it a little bit more. I've broken it in a little bit, and I love it a lot. So Island Memories San Francisco Om candle. So let's move on to the next item. So I think this next item is a little bit more of a pairing, but the other thing is in my car and I'm not taking it out of there. But what I ended up getting is a desktop diffuser, and I'm gonna have an image here for a moment, and a car fragrance from the company retaW. If you don't know what retaW is a little side project between Hiroshi Fujiwara as well as a, you know, fragrance chemist. I'll have his name right here if I can find it. The company is dedicated towards finding fragrances and finding certain scents that really are the kind of smells you want to have in your everyday life. They want it to be as essential as water, and that's why the name is retaW. That's the big kind of slogan for the brand. I have always seen this in specific boutiques, specific stores, but you know, I've never really been interested in diffusers or scents or any of that kind of stuff. But now that I have it in hand, I can tell you that this was a phenomenal investment. The diffuser is pretty nice. It's kind of small, to be completely honest, for the price that you're paying. You're paying that high-end kind of premium price for a relatively small amount of liquid here. It says that the lasting time on this thing is going to be about 2 to 2.5 months, which is not that bad, but you can get some diffusers at your local Bed Bath & Beyond, that type of thing, that are double this size for the price of this one, that last for like a year or 6 months or somewhere in that bracket. But I love the scent a lot, and it really does bring a nice little air to my desk space, which is right over here, which has also been renovated. I got those shelves and all that kind of thing. I'm happy about this. And the car fragrance in particular is super, super strong. It's really soapy, but it doesn't have this really overbearing soapy smell that can be a, malady of a lot of other fragrances, that kind of thing. It really strikes a nice balance, and it kind of sticks to the, motto of the brand. It really does have this sort of essential smell nature to it that I like to have around at all times. So I'm really stoked about this. So we've got the desktop diffuser from retaW and the Barney scent, as well as the car fragrance. But yeah, moving on to the next item. So sticking to scents, I really genuinely wanted something that was a fragrance that had sandalwood notes to it. And I wanted to do this because I have a post-shave lotion from Aesop, which is called the Moroccan Neroli post-shave lotion. I highly recommend it. But it really has this super woody smell to it, and that's because it has a majority of the blend being sandalwood. And I was looking for a fragrance because I was like, I love that smell on that post-shave lotion. If I could just have something that just is on my body and has that kind of note to it at all times, I would love it. Well, you look up sandalwood, and the first thing that you find in terms of sandalwood fragrances is this, which is Santal 33 from Labo. The scent that guy made a video about in costume. A whole song was based upon it, and it is the meme smell. But you know what? I don't care. This is amazing. Labo, if you're not familiar, is a fragrance company. They make shampoos, conditioners, candles, and particularly fragrances. I don't know that much more about the brand outside of that, but it is very pricey in terms of price point, and you can usually find one of their labs in Nordstrom's and other, more specific department stores, as well as their, actual main retail stores that they have. Their scents come at a premium given the fact that a lot of the things that go into the scent itself are very artisanally picked. If that makes any sense, they're just very handcrafted scents. They really put an emphasis around the fact that each scent is made for each consumer and how fresh it is and how long it's gonna last and how articulated the scent is to the wearer. I don't know, I didn't really get involved with it in that way given our circumstances, so I just bought it online, but I can tell you guys I am so happy with this scent. Santal 33 really strikes this interesting dichotomy between having this sort of musky, woody smell that I've mentioned earlier, but with a lot of sweet tones in it as well. Really being able to find a nice balance. I would definitely say that it's a little bit more on the feminine side in terms of scents, but as a guy, I can wear this and it's completely fine. This size in particular is their 0.5 fluid ounce bottle. It's relatively small. On the bottle itself, I'll just read it out. It says Eau de Parfum Vaporisateur, natural spray. I probably butchered that. Compounded in Seattle by Maria, so you know who made it, on August 31st, 2020. So it's a relatively recently made bottle. I think that's a cool little detail. On the bottom, it says that it's handmade by Labo at their location in New York. So it's cool how it works like that. This bottle is relatively expensive, but I find that with a lot of my fragrances, because I like to use them on, specific events for specific days and that kind of thing. I'm gonna be using this bottle and I'm actually gonna get to the end of it, which I have not done with any of my other fragrances. So yeah, I just really love this. I can't get over how much I like this. I'm probably gonna chew through it. But I've been gabbing about this bottle for a lot, so let's move on to the next thing. But Santal 33, the 0.5 fluid ounce bottle from Labo. So, this isn't fashion related and this isn't even fragrance related, but I just have to talk about it because I'm so excited about it. Let me grab it from down here. Oi, it's my new bonsai tree. This was gifted to me from my wonderful girlfriend, and I've been wanting a bonsai for a while and something that I can kind of take care of and watch progress for a little bit, given quarantine time, that type of thing. And this bonsai tree in particular is a white pine, a particularly fussy type of bonsai tree. Thank you for Mariah for, unleashing this beast upon me. But bonsais have always kind of interested me. I'm a little bit of a weeb. Obviously, I've kind of alluded to that in other videos. So I kind of wanted something that would spruce up the room, no pun intended, because spruce tree. but I wanted something that would spruce up the room, make it look a little bit nicer, and would be something that would be fun to take care of. It's a little bit of a meme that a lot of fashion people are kind of getting into botany and that kind of thing as of recently, but just watching the small little progressions of the candles that are on the tree, those are like the buds for these needles, and just being able to take care of something like this has been really fun, and it really does add a lot to the room. It's got this gorgeous structure here at the bottom. The roots kind of come out and gnarl in specific areas. You'll see this through the B-roll, that kind of thing, but learning how to take care of it, learning how to pot it with the right soil and that kind of thing, de-weed certain aspects of the tree, tend to clovers, that kind of stuff has been really fun, and I've really enjoyed it. So this is my white pine bonsai. Moving on. So with that stuff out of the way, I can actually get into some of the fashion pickups, which I think more people are a little bit more familiar with. I don't blame you if you skipped to this part of the video, but I did want to talk about some of the other stuff that makes me seem a little bit more human, if that makes any sense. I don't know if this will end up in the video, but I want to talk about that stuff regardless, so thank you for watching. The first thing that I want to talk about, and the thing that you're probably familiar with if you watch my videos, it was my last video, but I have the Nike ISPA Drifter Split, really kind of reinforcing that idea that I'm a weeb, but again, an amazing shoe. A few times that I've actually gone out to wear these in the midst of quarantine, I've really loved it. You get a lot of questions about the tabby toe, that kind of stuff. Are these comfortable? Does your toe hurt? That kind of stuff. I love kind of explaining it to people. I also like saying, hey, I have a YouTube video on it, which is kind of corny. They work well with a surprising amount of things. They work well in an avant-garde sense. They work well in a more technical sense. They work well in a casual sense. A surprisingly versatile and very statement shoe. And that's the thing that I really like about these. If you want to know more about the shoe and all of its specific details, you can watch the YouTube video that I made on it, my last one, like I mentioned earlier. And yeah, the shoe is great though. It's kind of interesting to see how it's worn ever so slightly, mainly with the colors on the foam kind of coming off, that stuff, but it's really cool. I love these shoes. I've already got, you know, stains on the bottom and all that stuff, and these are going to be a long time wearing pair right here. This next item is a bigger pickup. I probably should have saved it to the end, but you know, given that I just talked about those shoes, I'll talk about these as well. But these are my first pair from this company, and I'm really excited about these. These are the Hoka 11 Bondi B in collaboration with Engineered Garments. I was thinking about dedicating a whole video to these shoes in particular because there's a lot to talk about. I might do that as a matter of fact, but I was really excited to be having a more chunky, slightly more fashionable pair of sneakers. My go-to running shoes that I use are a pair of Nike Element Reacts, and they're great, but they're a very skinny silhouette, and they're just not quite what I'd like to wear with certain outfits, that kind of thing, whereas these work well in a majority of the fits that I like to do, given that I like to wear wider silhouettes a majority of the time, while also being something that I could easily see myself running in because these things are crazy, crazy comfortable. Hoka 11 or Hoka One One, if you're not familiar, is a Japanese shoemaking brand. Their claim to fame being the fact that they make shoes with an incredible amount of cushion on the bottom. It's insane how much cushion is on these shoes while also being incredibly light. These shoes were a collaboration with the Japanese-American company known as Engineered Garments, Daiki Suzuki's Engineered Garments. Daiki being a Japanese fashion head throughout a majority of the 70s, 80s, that kind of thing, and then transplanting to the US before starting Engineered Garments in 1999 has been a very influential aspect of Japanese Americana wear. Engineered Garments being very Americana because they are based in America and they have a lot of their stuff made in the US or New York in particular, so it's cool to see how there's that crossover, and it's an interesting history to say the least. I'm not going to get into all the details. I know I've probably butchered some of them already, but I'm super excited about these shoes, and I might just do a full review on them, comfort, all that sort of stuff, how I styled them, that kind of thing. But I will definitely make another video on these, I think. I kind of just convinced myself. Yeah, moving on to the next item. But the Hoka 11 or One One Engineered Garments collab, the Bondi B model. Keeping with Engineered Garments, I can actually get onto a, you know, just straight up Engineered Garments garment, which is this bucket hat in a cotton twill. I've been really wanting a black bucket hat for a long time, but I really haven't been able to find anything that really kind of works, I guess. Bucket hats all kind of have a slightly different shape and size to them because they're a little bit more, you know, personalized than a lot of just throw on baseball caps, dad caps, that kind of thing. So whenever I see one that I kind of like, I'm like, oh, that's cool, but if the crown is a certain height and the material is like that, it might look a little bit goofy, or, oh wow, that looks really cool, but it's really expensive. So I have to, jump through hoops to be able to find one that I like. But after getting through all of those hoops, if that makes any sense, I found one that I really enjoy, which is this engineered garments one. The hat is super cool, super interesting, and just super high quality. It's made out of this very heavy black cotton twill material that has a mild herringbone pattern to it, funny enough. The bill itself is pretty quilted, the kind of thing that you'd see on a normal bucket hat, but then it also has this interesting zigzag detail that goes around the entire thing. Inside the hat, it's got this nice plush liner that you can keep up against your head. It really feels comfy, nice to wear. Not super great for very hot days that we've been having recently, just because it doesn't breathe super well, but it's really comfortable nonetheless, and it'll be great in the winter months, that kind of stuff. And it still works in the summer, but you get a little bit hot in it. The thing that's particularly interesting about the hat is that this super, super high crown allows for a wide variety of styling options, as well as just a really quirky aesthetic overall, kind of leaning towards like a Gilligan's Island kind of look, but then also having this sort of Japanese quirkiness that I like with a lot of Japanese designers in general. The hat can be styled in a lot of ways, like I mentioned earlier. You can have the front part of the hat folded up so you have a very fisherman look going on. You can just wear it as is, or you can crimp it in the back and kind of have like a pseudo fedora going on. I don't like fedoras, but you can really get a fedora look going on by being able to crimp it in the back, which isn't fedora looking, and it pulls the bills in on the hat itself so that, it's a little bit closer to your head, and I actually really like that. I'll try and show it off in some of my B-roll, but it has a wide variety of styling ways, like I've said 3 times or 4 times now. And for that reason, I really, really love this hat. I'm glad I had it gifted to me, and I'm super stoked about it. So this made in USA engineered garments cap, I think this is available at a lot of retailers still. So if you want to find it, it's pretty easy to find. And yeah, let's move on to the next item. Keeping with hats, we have something a little bit more specific and something that's kind of out of my comfortability range, but something I was super excited to try. And I have this Western Hydrodynamic Research promotional cap. I believe it's their very first item. And yeah, it's cool. Western Hydrodynamic Research, if you are unfamiliar, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you will be unfamiliar, is a brand that was started by Punker Pat, a surfer who is a worker at Nike, pretty higher up. I'm pretty sure he's a community manager, if I'm familiar. Don't quote me on that. Punker Pat was very essential in getting the Tom Sachs movie made that came out earlier this year called How to Learn How to Surf. I watched that movie, I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and as somebody who lives in a surf town, I say beach town a lot, but a town that, is really known for its surf, this was a really cool movie for me, a really cool concept, that kind of stuff, because being somebody who surfs myself, not very frequently anymore, but somebody who has surfed, it was really cool to kind of look at it through the lens that Tom Sachs brought with the movie, and I kind of wanted to be able to support in some type of way while also being able to get a cool item, and this seemed like a cool way to support. I really like the kind of elegant take that they have with surfing and, I don't know, graphic design and that kind of stuff all in the same sentence, and it's cool in a lot of ways. It's pretty much a very normal surf cap with this point at the top and a relatively shallow crown, but the thing that makes it particularly interesting is this bungee cord that we can see on the back that makes it a one-size-fits-all kind of hat, and it's adjustable ever so slightly, but it's a cool detail. That's my favorite part about it, is how interesting the detail is overall. It looks cool on the back of the head, and it just looks kind of cool in general because of this really deep navy blue color and this really awesome serif, or sans serif, sorry, text on the front. Really impactful piece. I like how sciencey the term is on the front. I wear it for fashionable outfits. I wear it for running groceries. It works in a wide variety of scenarios, and I really love it for that reason. So yeah, Western Hydrodynamic Research hat. So the last couple of things that I've picked up are actually on my person right now. So let's get into them. The first thing being this vintage work shirt from my friend Marco. I can't really show it up and show off all the detail here on camera, but I'll try and show it off in some of the B-roll. It's a very old vintage work shirt with a lot of interesting details to it overall. It has this really cool herringbone pattern to it that is kind of similar to the engineered garments hat that I was just talking about earlier. The main key difference being that it's got this gorgeous sort of indigo wash to it that has fading throughout all of these different unique parts of the shirt. I got this shirt from Marco in the first place because he just opened up a store that I designed for in Oakland called Dry Clean. If you're in the Oakland area, I definitely recommend checking it out. It's got a cool variety of stuff that definitely leans a little bit more towards the more hype, more cutting edge end of things, but he definitely throws a lot of cool vintage stuff into the mix as well. It's a strong dichotomy between those two things. And Marco himself is a guy who's really into Kiko, really into a lot of more avant-garde stuff. And I know for a fact that he's going to be sneaking a lot of that stuff onto the racks as well and just kind of building into more Japanese designer things in the future. So I'm really excited about how he decides to do that. But the shirt was a great little pickup. I saw it on the rack. I really loved it. Again, it's got the indigo wash, this really cool boxy fit with a hidden button placket on the front, which gives it this cool casual nature to it. And then the other thing that I really love, the thing that I thought was just killer about it, is that it has all of these zigzag stitches throughout multiple parts of the shirt to repair small fraying and that kind of stuff. One up here on the front pocket, a lot of it down here around the collar, one on the body, and there's some around the hem. I'll try and show it off in the B-roll, but it's a really cool shirt. I'm really stoked for Marco's store. Check it out. I'll leave a link to it on Instagram down below. But yeah, this work shirt is killer, and it'll look great with all the engineered garment stuff, so I'm stoked. And finally, the very last thing, the thing that I was the most surprised about getting overall, it's something that is phenomenal. I'm actually just taken aback by it, but is this Issey Miyake Roku watch that I did not see coming. Issey Miyake, if you're not familiar, is fashion royalty, one of the biggest designers to ever come out of Japan, and he's kind of dipped his toes in a lot of different areas, but it's really interesting how he's been able to create stuff that works at the cutting edge when it comes to technology, and that kind of thing, but then also stuff that is very simple, very clean, and works really well in a wide variety of wardrobes. I have a few pieces from him, some really cool ones at that really kind of show that dichotomy between stuff that's very over the top in certain aspects, but stuff that's also a little bit more minimal in others. And this watch is definitely a good example of something that works on a more minimal aspect. It is a super minimal watch. The watch is incredibly simple. It's got this black metal face with white detailing for all the different hours in the day, that kind of thing on the front. I apologize if my watch lingo is not great. This is my first watch, and I'm incredibly surprised that I even have it in the first place. So I have to kind of reiterate that. It says Issey Miyake above both of the arms, and then it has a leather band to kind of tie it all together. It's a made in Japan piece, and guys, I cannot stress how cool this is. Because the item is so simple, it works with the majority of the fits that I have, whether they're a little bit more avant-garde or a little bit more simple, but then it also works really well with a lot of more technical, more crazy things in the more tech wear realm. So I really like how it's able to kind of strike that balance, and I'm super excited about it overall. It's an amazing piece, but there's not much to talk about. You know, it's a watch. It works for its purpose, and it works well on the wrist. It's just that extra accessory that you might like, and I'm super excited about it. So yeah, that's my last pickup. It's a really big pickup at that, and I'm really glad to have it. So yeah, that's everything. Something a little bit different, guys. Not really script-based, kind of freestyling it. I apologize for any word stumbles or odd edits from me just kind of blurting out whatever comes to mind about what I received, but this is fun, and it's casual, and it's something that I'm excited to do in the near future with more videos, that kind of stuff. I kind of alluded to the fact that I might make a video on those engineered garments Hoka shoes, so keep an eye out for that in the near future. But with that out of the way, this is the very end of the video, guys, so I have to do it. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, that's it. So as always, stay whatever. Peace.